Hello, everyone. Hey. Hey, nice to see you. Who is here for the XMPP? Okay. Hey. Who is here for WhatsApp? WhatsApp? Who of you is actually WhatsApp user? Can I see the hands?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I mean, that's a lot of people, but maybe this is a group where the percentage of the WhatsApp users is a bit lower than in the rest of the society, because...
I'm just making notes of you.
And who of you is a Matrix user? Okay, there are some people which are no users yet. Who of you is a Matrix home server, or a person which is responsible for Matrix home servers? Oh, that's a lot of you. Okay, so I think all of you are right, because this is the Matrix Dev Room. We want to share information about different topics of Matrix, and the first talk is from Matthew and Greg about the state, what's currently going on, but Matthew is on the other side of the universe giving a talk on the bigger audience. So Greg will start, and then Matthew will hopefully jump in. Give him a warm welcome and enjoy the afternoon.
Thank you. Yes, we will fill for Matthew, right? But because we only have... So I have a spot in his talk, right? But he's not here. So we'll do my spot now, and then when we get to that point in the talk, you'll go, yeah, we know. Right? And then it's all fine. So my name's Greg. Some may know me as the weird Welsh username in lots of rooms. I will not... It will get printed on the screen when Matthew gets here. I'm not going to spell it out for you. My role, I'll explain in a minute, but let me ask a question first of you. Who knows about the Matrix Governing Board? About a third of the room for the recording. Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to tell you all about the board, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to give you an update on the Matrix Governing Board. So the Matrix Governing Board is brand new this year. We had our first elections in May, and the board was spun up in June. So we've had a little over half a year to get started. Can I get hands up from the board members? We got 3 other board members in the room, 4 of us. So to give you an idea, that's a fifth. There are 20 of us on the board. That is a big board, okay? And it takes time to get those things going, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But let me start first by telling you what it's for, okay? Because what's a board do? Does anyone know what a board does most of the time? Nothing. No, it's not true. We have a lot of organizations in the Matrix ecosystem, right? We have the Guardians at the top, we have the Spec Core team, we have the Matrix Foundation, now we have the Matrix Governing Board. What's the relationship, right? The board is here to help all of us gather our enthusiasm, gather all of our energy, our knowledge, the things that we have done, the things that we have seen, experiences, bring it all together and direct it in a way that makes sense, okay? That's what the board is here to do. It's to help shape, because we cannot boil the ocean, right? We cannot try and do all the things for all the people all the time. We know that. It doesn't work. And that means we have to choose. We have to make choices. But we have to make choices that are right for the ecosystem. And that means listening to individuals, people who run home servers, to the ecosystem, to the application developers, to the commercial interests, to the communities. That's my background. I'm a community leader in open source, right? So all of these things matter. All of them have to be listened to. But it takes time to set that up. And that's what we've been doing this year. Our goal is to have the board ready to run by the next set of elections. I know a year sounds like a really long time. You're looking for a connection?
Yes.
I have no idea where it is. I don't know where Tib is, but that looks like what we need. So the goal of the board is to be this thing, right? To help us focus our energy, to bring our knowledge together, to give us that lightning rod space to bring everything together. How's that going to work? How that's going to work is what we call working groups. There will be working groups. There are already some. I figured I'd just do my update while I was waiting for you to get here.
Thank you. Jensen is far away, and Matthew was using my laptop.
Yeah. No, we'll get there. We'll get there. I'll hand over to you in a minute, and then you can skip over me when we get to it, right? So the goal of the governing board this year is to get all our processes in place. That takes time. It's boring. I'm going to bore you with the details. But think of it like a flywheel, right? All communities are flywheels. You have to spin them up. You have to get them going. And once you get them going, they don't take up that much energy to keep them going. we have a really big wheel. Like 20 people board is a really big wheel, so it takes time, right? It's super exciting and a spectacularly he works in on the word boring. I love it. Boring. Yes. So what we do is really important in a spectacularly boring way. But the working groups are almost here. So what I will tell you now, while these guys get the slide deck set up, is how the working groups are going to work so that you can start getting involved, right? Now, this is not fully agreed by the board yet, but I don't expect the shape of it to change. Wording may change. The process is largely agreed at this point. It's going to be like this. If you have an idea for a working group, great. We want to hear from you. What do you need to do? First, you need an idea of what you want to achieve. I don't think that's unreasonable for a working group to know what it's for, right? Second, you're going to need a couple of extra people, because whilst we love passion projects, we'd like to know there's at least some buy-in from a few other people, right? So let's get a few like-minded people together. And third, you need to speak to the board members. Me, if you can't find anybody else, any board member will do. Get talking to them, find a board sponsor, and we will help get you onboarded into the working group process, okay? That's all you need to know. Somewhere in here there is a QR code for you that will come up at the right point, and that will be how you get to the office of the governing board room, and you can come and talk to us there. And with that, it's Matthew's job.
Who will start? She will start? Okay, start.
Thanks.
Okay, we shifted the time a bit. We used our time machine and put Greg in front and you
Yeah, that's
at the
perfect.
end.
Thank
so
you.
You have another 23 minutes to go.
Perfect. Now what's best than having both talks back to back with broken laptops and things. But we're failing to get the slides in. So
This might be more promising, maybe?
can you go select ordinateur?
Are you just guessing me?
Yes, he is.
I didn't get any distraction.
Can we move it down? You have an up and down.
Manual? Oh, great.
Our talks are going amazingly today.
Yeah. It's almost like it's a passive-aggressive campaign against proprietary macOS users, heaven forbid. Luckily, the room is small enough that we can probably... Well, honestly, when we were prepping this talk, we thought, do we really need slides? We could just wing it, like responsible adults. And so perhaps we will try to improvise whilst do 25 minutes of HTML engineering.
But we have nice pictures, so let's see. Maybe we'll get to
that's
show the
true.
nice pictures. Take mine there. It has the right side deck. This is the other one.
Yeah, well, I can pull that out there. So, first of all, welcome everybody to the Dev Room. I guess everyone's already said that. And so we wanted to talk about what happened this year. This is 2024, by the way, last year. And this was the year of, well, first of all, the first Matrix conference. Have we already spoken about it much? No?
No, not much. Basically, interesting numbers on the first Matrix conference. Move down. First, it had an amazing branding, so that was cool.
I'm literally
And
watching it.
yeah, good. Yes. So it was over 4 days, managed to bring together 52 speakers and 236 participants. It was the first one, and it was completely oversubscribed, so we know that next year we can get somewhere bigger, and I think it will be in France, Strasbourg, or something like this. So 54 talks, 12 countries, and 79 organizations. So that was good. Yay! Numbers. Cool. Thank you. Okay, press the button now. Ching.
And yeah, I just said it in the main stage, but it's worth repeating that one of the things which really kind of came home to me is that this is a truly heterogeneous ecosystem. It's not like, hey, there's a bunch of random SDKs that don't really work on GitHub anymore. Instead, there are in production full commercial implementations of a Rust-based Matrix client with Matrix Rust SDK, but then also all the Flutter stuff from Famedly, the Kotlin platform stuff from Connect2X, the whole Matrix stack in Go from Beeper and Automatic, and going back, perhaps. Don't worry about the fact that somebody is using your keyboard without you touching it. I'm sure it's fine. Okay. Then React Native is a new one that Unomed and Filament have been taking the Rust SDK and doing bindings for UniFFI, which is really fun to see the existing UniFFI bindings that are used for iOS and Android on Rust SDK being extended to other platforms like React Native. I was playing with this the other day for some naughty potential demo that I didn't finish in time, and it's actually kind of fun to do. And you've got the C++ stack that Neko uses, which must be, I think, one of the oldest ones.
2017 or something.
Yeah, 2017, I think it was, probably the second or third ever stack, and it's really, really cool to see it going strong now. So this is good news for the ecosystem that we have this level of plurality. Next slide.
So yeah, the other angle which was really interesting is beyond the tech, we also had all the deployments using Matrix. And we've been here for 10 years at FOSDEM talking about CHAP, for example, but all the other ones popping up and all gathered into one room between OpenDesk in Germany to do an open source of 365 TI Messenger for the healthcare, ePost in Swiss, moving normal mail to Matrix, nice NATO, we mentioned it as well last year, Safos in Sweden, the Swedish workplace with open source software as well, Fitco for Citizen Chat, etc., etc. So it was really fun to see all the actual ecosystem, plus also all the deployments which are going to use all this fun tech.
And that's a bit gauche to plug a different conference when you're at a different conference, but it is worth noting that it's worth going and watching some of these talks. We had like 50 of them, and it is quite mind-blowing to see the details, particularly of the public sector deployments there. And we're at this rate, we're going to do the whole thing in about 3 minutes, so perhaps we can calm it down and give more detail. I don't really have any questions at this point, just throwing it out to the floor to buy some time. No questions? Everyone looking stunned and slightly traumatized? Okay, brilliant. So, well, this is everybody who turned up. Thank you, those who came. How many people here came to the Matrix conference? About a quarter of the room? What? Oh, a question. Excellent.
So can you give us a little bit of information about your model, working model? You're trying to engage with the ecosystem and develop all these nice things. What is the key thing behind? Is it a strong commercial aspect in your organization?
Oh.
Is there some sort of, what is the key incentives of you being there?
Right. Excellent question. So I'll repeat it for the microphone. You see, I'm a pro. This is a question about the overall sort of economics of Matrix as an ecosystem, basically. What is the model? How does it work? And I always forget that there are folks who don't have the context of the last 10 years of how we got here. And the answer is that these days you have the Matrix Foundation, and you just heard Greg, from the chairman of the governing board of the Matrix Foundation, hopefully explain that the foundation exists as a non-profit, at the moment a UK community interest company non-profit, to basically be a guardian of the intellectual property of the Matrix spec, to make sure it is protected from any of the vendors which we mentioned earlier who go and build things on top, much like W3C protects the web from the nice people at Google or Apple or Mozilla or whoever else might be trying to twist it in a given direction. And in the mists of time, I guess it was, 2018 that we registered the foundation, and we properly started to operationalize it in 2020, and then we hired Robin as the executive director in 2023, so they've been there for, 18 months now, and the foundation now operates as its own independent entity, and it's obviously non-profit. It relies on donations, so if you're not a member either as an individual or even better as an organization, at the risk of jumping ahead, please support the foundation, and we have a slide explaining what it does. Separately, you then have a whole bunch of hackers and various flavors building on top of the protocol. And some of them are going to be open source independent individuals just doing it for fun in their spare time. Then perhaps it gets successful and they might try to depend on it as their day job. Then they might form a company, hire more people. And just like in the web in the early days, you saw this kind of Precambrian explosion of startups with Netscape and everybody else going and building things on the web. We're kind of seeing the same thing happen with Matrix. Slightly slower timeline, but in some ways Matrix is a bit more complicated than the early days of the web. And so basically those companies then support themselves typically by selling solutions of some kind. It could be support, it could be maintenance, it could be AGPL exceptions, so give dual license approaches. It could be SaaS hosting. It could be open core, where all the important stuff is open, but then the enterprisey stuff ends up being proprietary. So that's the kind of overall model of the ecosystem. Did I answer the question? Cool. Thank you. Right. We were talking about the conference.
Yeah, the conference, which was good to see, like a good milestone to see the growth of the ecosystem.
Come next year, or come this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be in France. It'll be amazing.
And if you're a company and want to sponsor, we also have a link to do so.
Explain the economics for last conference, which was great, but we made a loss. So it would be amazing if more people can sponsor it the coming year, because it's a bit of a shame if we end up losing money on it, given we're selling tickets and things.
Yep. So 2024 was also the year of proving Matrix 2.0.
So I'm taking my words very deliberately here. In Matrix, we've always had the idea that you need an implementation to prove that your thing works before it goes in the spec. And Matrix 2.0 is a pretty ambitious set of MSCs to give you instant login and instant sync, to give you native next generation auth, give you native video calling, end-to-end encrypted, as well as crypto that doesn't suck. And last year in September we proved it. And the word prove here, I don't know if this translates out of English, so I apologize if I'm going to confuse anybody. Does it work in French?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so basically proving is when you do this. So if you're making bread, you go and put some yeast typically into the flour and the salt and whatnot, and you leave it for a couple of hours and see whether it proves, it goes and improves, if you will, and hopefully it rises, and then you go and bake it into the spec, and you get beautiful. Look at the structure in this. I'm very proud of this. This is my personal stress-induced baking antics, that you get beautiful baked bread. So the phase that Matrix 2.0 has been in last year is basically that phase. It is not yet baked in the spec, and you probably shouldn't eat it, although in practice you can eat it, and it does taste quite nice. So what do you get here? I already mentioned it's auth, it's sliding sync, now simplified, it's native VoIP, and it's invisible crypto. Used Element X as a showcase for proving this, and whilst the MSCs are not all in the spec, they will be soon, and the timing of these is that Next-gen auth is proposed to enter FCP. I think we've got a couple of checkboxes on it, and we will not put this live on matrix.org until it has passed FCP on the FCP, on the MSC. FCP on the MSC, you get the idea. Basically, it needs to be queued up as agreed to go into the spec, and then we will push it hard. Sliding sync now implemented in both Synapse and Dendrite, thanks to, not Dendrite, and Conduit. So we've got two implementations there now flying around. Again, it's approaching FCP. There is one concern that needs to be fixed around how you tell clients that state has been deleted, which we just missed in the original MSC. But it's easy to add, and then that will also hopefully be heading into being baked into the spec. Matrix RTC, again, shipped in September with Element Cool, but also integration on Element Web and Element X, and I believe Famedly also has. Where did Nico go? Yeah, have you actually got Matrix RTC in the Famedly stack?
Yeah, but not following the latest
Okay.
change.
Well, no, you should keep us honest on it, not that you ever would not, and make sure that what actually gets FCP'd there is good and fit for purpose. So basically, we are getting agonizingly close to getting this into the spec. And invisible crypto is a bit of a weird one because it's lots of different things. It is things like verifying all of your devices. So I'm afraid everybody needs to know that in the very near future, you're going to need to actually prove you own your device in order to talk to people. Unverified devices where you've just logged in and ignored all the crypto warnings saying, please prove that you are you and you're not an attacker who shoulder surfed a password. All of that will be gone. So you, on logging in, will basically, particularly if you use QR login, to instantly jump into your new Matrix account, will be verified by default. So we're going to be speccing that thou shalt ignore messages from unverified devices. Then where are we at? Matrix RTC, no, we've already done it. Invisible crypto, yeah. So one of the things I screwed up at the Matrix conference is that I told everybody how amazing this was and that and that it's here. I did a bunch of amazing demos, and if we have time, we should probably just run a demo again. And then everybody said, hey, that's great, so how do I use it? I'm on matrix.org. And we said, we've got to kind of migrate 30 million users over to native auth, and we can't really force everybody to do that until it's hit FCP, blah, 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 blah. So Joe Public can play with it, and we also failed to ship a community-facing distribution. So good news is that there will be a open source bunch of Helm charts from Element in the relatively near future, I think called ESS Community Edition or something, which will be AGPL and allow you to run that stack for Rails. Also, there is my random toy project Element Docker demo, which is a Docker Compose setup that can very rapidly set one up so that you can play with it, and I'll try to do a demo if we have time in a minute. Sorry, this is a geeky slide. Back to you.
So yes, the year also where we welcome more members to the foundation. The membership program was launched in 2023, but last year really started to move up and have, like every year, this slide of people who are actually paying for membership is growing. So thank you everyone who is participating in it. We also have all our ecosystem members building on top of Matrix and also helping organizing events and this sort of things and moderating the network, which is one of the biggest thing we have to do, and associate members and all of these people have representatives on the governing board, as Greg probably said earlier. So why the foundation? Well, the foundation actually needs money. So we have a whole bunch of things the foundation is responsible for, but where is the money actually going? So first we need the evangelism, of course, and make sure that everyone knows about Matrix, because it's a network, and if we don't have users and people building on top of it, the network is going to be useless. So let's grow it if we want it to actually become the new communication layer for the web. Then trust and safety, I mentioned it. We have a team who is dealing with the direct request we get when we need to take down rooms and this sort of things full of abuse. But it's also building the tooling so that anyone running a Matrix server has the right tool to moderate it. It's something where we're far behind and we need more resources to do so. And of course the last one, it's boring, but we still need to deal with finance and legal and pay the team who is working on it, make sure that we host a website on something and pay the subscriptions we need to pay, etc., etc., etc. So that costs money. We've decreased all this cost to the kind of minimum viable we can get to, and the memberships and the revenue we're getting are not even covering half of it. So, and the reserves are running low, so that is why we are so loud in terms of please, please, please become members. And I know in this room, I suspect most of the people are individuals who are having lots of fun hacking on Matrix, but we know, as we've seen earlier, there are a lot of organizations who are very big and always claim they don't have a lot of money, who are also building on Matrix, and not public sector only. There are a lot of private sector people doing so. And these are the people we're trying to call out, and please, let's change how we work together. Let's get you on membership. And yeah, moving on. Become a member today.
Who is member of the foundation in here?
I was the first one to say.
Hope so.
They mentioned the conference. As a member, you get a free ticket to the conference.
Governing board. So we already had it, but as you can see, half of the board, roughly, very serious people, or not.
Greg, there's a QR code if you want to hang out in the governing board room.
Just to quickly repeat, thank you for the context. I didn't have time to add because I was trying to be quick. I'll do that again. Thank you again, Matthew, for adding that context about the things we protect, because I was talking about things we want to do, and that's important context. And if you want to get a working group going, come and talk to us in here.
Thank you.
So yeah, it was a busy year. I've got ecosystem bubblier than ever, lots of huge deployments, governance is ready to support growth for the next 20 years. Where do you get 20 from? 20, I say 30 years. But there we go.
Basically, yes, we need to make sure that
it may be a recurring theme. Amandine did these slides if it wasn't obvious from the person staring at the bank account of the foundation. Yeah, people need to realize the software powering these deployments is not generally written by ChatGPT, but by humans who need to pay their rent. So please build on it again. Okay, yes. Brilliant. In the meantime, 2025, yes, more money concerned. But let's enjoy a full afternoon of Matrix fun. I've got like 3 minutes to do my demo. I'll take questions at the same time. Let's see if I can do this.
Yeah, I gotta...
So there's I checked the website, there's a donation page, right, if I want to donate something. And I see that you have Patreon, you have LibrePay, but all of them take a significant cut from the donations.
DonorBox is the best one to use because it takes the smallest cut.
Okay.
And does anyone know how much DonorBox takes?
Tib. Where is Tib? We've lost Tib. Okay. So the question was, there are a lot of ways of donating money on the website, which all take a cut. DonorBox is the one which takes the smaller cut, and mine, like, I would need my...
Maybe, rather than 20 or whatever Patreon takes these days.
So, yeah, annoying that Tib is not here because he would have the best thing. But if you want to go in the office of the foundation, the governing board, you can also get answers. That's how...
Sorry,
Yeah.
just a quick follow-up. Can you also donate through, like, I don't know, SEPA transfer? Something?
At some point we had it set up, so yeah, the best is to ask in one of the room, and then the right person can reply on this.
DonorBox takes SEPA, right?
Yeah,
I think they
maybe DonorBox takes SEPA. Yeah,
Yep,
so that's
Right, very quickly because we have very few minutes. Who saw this demo already on the main stage? Okay, not very many people, in which case I'm going to quickly do it.
But are you sure demo is most important than
Yes,
questions?
it is.
Are there other questions?
This will literally take 10 seconds. So I'm going to clone element Docker demo into a fresh directory on this DigitalOcean's VPS. I'm going to run the setup script. I'm going to say dev room on dangerous demos, if I could type, .net. I'm not going to use mkcert. I'm going to use let's encrypt. I can't spell my own name. This is a good start. No, I'm going to... okay, I've got to invade my entire Docker setup and remove the info. Let's quickly do that again. Dev room dangerous demos. Oh God, come on. No. Yes. If you matrix. God damn it. Yes, because I just vaped my entire Docker instance from under it. Well, there's one. Oh, yeah, so it's just... interesting. So if you tell Docker to clean everything up whilst it's still running, it doesn't actually clean things up. Thank you. Let's just go and let the old one from the previous demo shut down. Yeah, other questions whilst I make a complete hash of this? Anyone?
Nothing?
Okay, yeah, it takes a bit longer. Let's go and delete this.
Just some, when we change to the next session, everyone who wants to leave the room go into that direction, or if you're on that time of the room, go there, that new people can come in there. Okay?
Who thinks they could contribute something to the working group? I mean, I'm betting some of you are new users, and I'm planning on setting up a new user experience working group for a start. So who's a new user for Matrix in the last 3 months? Right, I want to hear from you. Anyone else? Just you. We'll talk. But it's things like this that we want to get. So it's like it's experience, it's documentation, it's not just code.
So I got myself a Let's Encrypt cert for FOSDEM.dangerousdemos or devroom.dangerousdemos.net. I then hit Docker Compose up. Because I just vaped everything to try to get it to a clean state, it's going to have to pull down the various containers from GitHub and probably Docker Hub. Hopefully Docker Hub won't rate limit me to death. But you can see it's pulling in element web, it's got Synapse, it's got Mailhog as a target for SMTP, you've got Matrix Authentication Service, you've got LiveKit for Matrix RTC, you've got Redis, Element Call, and Postgres, and then it goes and installs some of it, sets it going, and you can hopefully see Synapse starting up there, generate Synapse secrets, Element Call, Element Web, Nginx, Postgres, and SMTP flying around starting Synapse, and there's Synapse, so we're in. That is how rapidly you can get a full server in there, and if I go over to element.devroom.dangerousdemos.net, then hopefully it would let me get into there. So there's one that we just got. I can't create an account because account creation's turned off. I've done the same error that I did in the demo earlier, where yeah. So, let's see if I can go in again here, and I should be able to go into the right directory and run mass to create a user. I'm going to call it Matthew, give it a password, and yes, I know I'm very over time, but you're going to call the... Okay.
Just leave the room while he's
Okay.
29.
There we go.
There we go. Hopefully that works.
And we're in.